Good afternoon, Right Honourable Speaker and the House. Victor Hugo said, there is nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And I am very much privileged to be here this afternoon to address you who have devoted your time, and I see that you are representatives of various constituencies across the 16 regions of Ghana. And that is very heartwarming because even though the task is daunting, you are following up on issues that either bedevil your constituencies or issues that are being solved, and therefore you can make the comparisons and judge for yourself whether it is the minority or the majority that is doing well, isn't it? Wonderful. My name is Emmanuel Addipa-Adapoe. Can we all mention it in unison? Emmanuel Addipa-Adapoe. That means that I come from both the Volta part and the Oti part of Ghana. It used to be one, isn't it? It used to be Volta region. So my father comes from Nkonya, so I'm Addipa. And my mother comes from Adina. How many of you know Adina? Oh, you know, all right. So that is the Adapoe, right? So I'm Addipa-Adapoe Emmanuel. So I Damadu Gento. So if my English is not very good, I'll speak Ebe along the line. I hope everybody can speak Ebe. Yeah. Wonderful. Who is saying no? And you are in the Volta region. How long have you been here? Anyway, that's just by the way. But have you not eaten any akle already? You have, so you should be able to. Yeah, you should begin to speak. You should begin to speak Ebe, or make sure you learn Ebe before you go. Right? It's very difficult. You think? Well, let me tell you something. Ebe is not only spoken in Ghana. Germany, there is a school that teaches Ebe. And in fact, it is the Germans who actually translated the Ebe Bible. So the original Ebe Bible in the EP Church, or the Bremen Missionary Church, was actually translated by the Germans. So, for me, I speak many Ghanaian languages. I speak Twi, I speak Fanti, I speak Ebe, I speak a little Hausa. So when I'm in my consulting room, pardon? Mekeche, Nache, Naji, Hausa, Kadankada. Right, so I'm beginning to speak on my area of expertise, isn't it? And so, coming from where the Honourable Member is coming from, I want to tell you how you can carve a niche for yourself in a crowded marketplace. Right? Carving a niche for yourself in a crowded marketplace. So like I said, I speak many languages. You said you are the MP for Afram Plains North, right? I worked there. Many doctors will not accept postings to Afram Plains North. But when I did not train in Ghana as a medical doctor, I trained in China. But I came back. So I'm speaking to you on carving your niche or carving a niche for yourself in a crowded marketplace. And many are studying right now, but you are here devoting your time for parliamentary proceedings. And you call yourself the Youth Impact Parliament. Therefore, by the time you end your rotation as a member of parliament, you should not only be taking messages from your original members of parliament, you should have been mentored by them to be the one in readiness to take their place. So in my area of expertise, I'm going to speak to you, if you want to carve a niche for yourself in the marketplace, on three main aspects that you need to take along, not only from here, but on the rest of your journey. Be visible. The first one is to carve a niche for yourself in a crowded marketplace. Make sure you are visible. How do you make yourself visible in the marketplace? One is what you are doing, isolating yourself from the rest to be groomed by people ahead of you. And Honourable Amegashi has done a very good job with the founders by setting up this Youth Impact Parliament. And you see, a good leader is one who is able to train and mentor people to take over from himself. I'm glad he has handed over, and people can even debate and shut him down and say, you are not a member of this parliament. And that applies to the rest of you. Be visible. I just returned from Korea not long ago, and I was the one who was called upon to give the valedictory speech during our graduation, because I was visible throughout. I was visible. Immediately I went to, thank you. Immediately we went to Korea, the whole class, I presented chocolates to them, to my classmates. I took chocolates from Ghana. And you know why Asia likes our chocolate a lot? I read that after the Second World War, Hiroshima, Nagasaki had been bombed, and Japan was reeling and needed support. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah presented Ghana chocolates and other cocoa products in addition to other humanitarian assistance to Japan. Because of that gesture, till today, Ghana chocolate is more expensive. In fact, when they buy our cocoa beans, they produce, all the Asian countries, they produce their chocolate from our cocoa and target Ghana chocolate, and it is more expensive than other chocolates on the market. So, what am I trying to say? Our first president decided to be visible on the world stage, and that was even why he was overthrown. So as a member of parliament, don't let your work end here. Learn as much as possible, even how to address the house properly, how to say your name, how to have certain courtesies, how to walk, how to use the cutlery set. A parliamentarian, you may not know who is even watching. A parliamentarian cannot eat in public normally like the rest of the people. You know when you can do that? During the campaign. And you see how the honourable member for Ho West, right? You see the way he nicely told you people if you wanted visa and things like that. This is not the forum. But you can say that too on the campaign trail. And very good, even though this is not the forum, I can see that he is honing himself to be able to present statements on the campaign trail. So be visible. Always be visible. How many of you have heard of Wademaya? All of you, right? Kujenjeng. And the president said that guy is going to come back. So, Wademaya, how many of you know his original profession? No, he's an aeronautic engineer. He actually studied aeronautic engineering in China. I was then the NUC's president when he was in China. Yeah. So the forum is right to interact with my fellow parliamentarians, isn't it? Wonderful. And if I'm out of order, you can tell me freely. But when I begin to debate on the floor, we will have it good for boots. So be visible wherever you are. And you see, don't demean whatever duty is given to you. Do it to the best of your ability. That is how you will be visible on the stage. Let me tell you a story about myself. When I came back from China in 2017 thereabout, I wrote the exam. You know, when you train as a foreign student, you have to write a board exam because we are coming to practice on Ghanaians. So the Ghana Medical and Dental Council is very particular. You have to write an exam and pass to be sure that you can cut Ghanaians. You can give medicine, the proper medication to Ghanaians, because the diseases that are there. In Asia, they've eradicated malaria. Yeah. They've eradicated malaria. So when you are there, you may even lose the immunity you have to malaria. So when you come here, you need to write an exam, a board exam, and pass. So we did that. When we did that and we passed, now we were inducted as doctors to practice in Ghana. And that's how come I did my second rotation in obstetrics and gynecology in Afram Plains. So I did my first year in the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. Then an opportunity came that we should do our second rotation outside, do it in a district. So then I was supposed to go to Brekum, and then the then registrar said, we need somebody in Afram Plains. Because apparently the boss over there, the specialist over there was alone with only, I think, a senior medical officer. So just there and then, myself and one of my colleagues, we decided to change our postings to Donkokrom, where no house officer has been ever before. We didn't know what we were going to meet. But you see, because we chose to go, right, when people heard that new doctors were coming, they renovated a 3-bedroom apartment for us. Yeah. And our people were still struggling to rent apartments in Accra and all that, but we had it free. When we went, they cooked for us for 1 week before we started maneuvering our way. They gave us an allowance that was separate from the allowance we were being paid by the Ministry of Health. Long story short, I didn't even touch my salary. So I used the allowance I was getting to buy 2 plots of land, which is briefing for me in Afram Plains over there. So I will join your farm business. So that's how you will be visible. And when I finally finished the rotation, then COVID hit. Now I'm a full medical officer, right? So you can be released to go and head a hospital somewhere or practice somewhere. But then they said, okay, come back to Ridge Hospital. So I went back to Ridge Hospital, and in the midst of COVID, I volunteered to be the doctor for the COVID patients. How many will do that? But that is the way to be visible in identifying or carving a niche for yourself in a crowded marketplace. Look, there are many doctors in Ghana, far bigger than me, specialists. But when it came to COVID, I was the boss. Right? Fast forward, COVID finished. So with my visibility and the way I cared for the patients, I was awarded the grand medal. I was among you saw the awards. How many of you watched the awards in 2023? Yes. Go back and watch it again. You will see one person in a white smock, a white fugu. In fact, I popularized the fugu before you guys started wearing it. So that's how you'll be visible in carving a niche for yourself in a crowded marketplace. Paying attention to details, where people don't want to go, where people don't want to serve, where people think that everybody wants to get money for service. But if you volunteer, today, if you go to the Gazette and look in the award section, people who have been recognized nationally by the President of the Republic of Ghana, you will see the name Emmanuel Addipa-Adapoe. And that's what I'm leaving with you. Be visible. Number 2, be vocal. You're very vocal, and that is a plus. But be positively vocal. Be what? Positively vocal. Look, influence your peers. When you live here, whatever you learn from here, influence your peers. Be friendly to everybody. You see, these days in many hospitals, you realize that patients are beginning to become aware, and they can report you if you mistreat them, and that is their right. Emmanuel Addipa-Adapoe, no, a few patients have reported me, but later they found out that they were in the wrong. Let me give you an example. I am very vocal, very, very vocal, and during COVID, there was a judge who, those times big people didn't want to, tell their conditions, right? They still don't want to tell their conditions. So when the person, I'm not going to say whether a male or a female, when the person had COVID, he decided to be managing elsewhere, where he or she will not have adequate management. And then the thing became a bit serious. So my bosses were contacted, and we made arrangement quickly to bring the person to my hospital, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. How many of you have heard of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital? Rich Hospital, yeah. So that's where I work. Okay? And so we admitted the person. You know what I told the person? I said, you are the Makola judge. Me, I am the KJTI judge. You shouldn't have kept yourself at home until now. Right? And after that is how we saved our numbers. The judge saved my number as KJTI judge, and I saved the judge's number as Makola judge because she went to Makola. But me, in my hospital, I am the KJTI judge. That's how vocal I am. But I do it in love. I am positively vocal. And I make it very, very strong. My statements are firm and strong. So many people who were dying during COVID survived even the most critical conditions because I was positively vocal. My team, no, you don't mistreat my team. I will speak for my team. I will treat to the extent that people who we treated and we didn't know they were big men were the ones who went to advocate for us. And we were able to raise an amount of over 300,000 Ghana cedis to be able to pump oxygen from the main oxygen plant to my COVID treatment center. And that oxygen, once you keep the patients on the oxygen, and the supply is coming directly from the oxygen plant, they live. In addition to the medications we give. So, whatever you are doing, you should not be so much focused on the monetary reward, but have that human feeling, especially representing people of Kowa Afram Place, representing the good people of Anglo, for instance, and representing the people of Hohoe, Tano South, for instance. What is it, when you go back home, what is it that you realize? For instance, your farming business, how are you recruiting other people or other parliamentarians to educate them to go into not only agriculture, but agribusiness? So be vocal. Number 3, be valuable. That's the third, be valuable. So be visible, be vocal, and be valuable. That's how you carve a niche for yourself. Be valuable. Let people who you meet along the way know your value, know what you bring to the table. Do you see what happened to some ladies recently with a Russian? Those are people I easily beat in class. Right? And you see, I was telling Honourable Addipa-Adapoe that the internet these days doesn't forget. You can come back and explain, tire. You will not have the evidence to back whatever happened. Once it creates the impression that you do not give value, there will not be a second chance to create the first impression. Bring value to yourself. Let me tell you something. Many of us are Christians, some of us are Muslims. But the Bible or the Quran, when you look at the Torah, for instance, you know, Muslims believe in the Torah. So I'm going to use the Old Testament illustrations for certain things. Do you know that before David, right, killed Goliath, he had to make himself valuable by being a shepherd to his father, right? Do you know what he did when his father sent him to send the food before he went to kill Goliath? Do you know what he did to the father's sheep? He could have said, oh, these are my father's sheep. And Honourable, do you have some cattle?
Yes.
Wonderful. Yes, so I'm going to use him as an example. If he gives his cattle to other people, they may not take good care of it. But I am aware that many Muslims train their own children to take very good care of the cattle. And because their own children know the value of their fathers, they keep it very well. And that was how David was trained, by his father's sheep. And like I told him, his pastor may not have told him what David did. Because many times we don't even read it. But when you go back home, read 1 Samuel chapter 17 again. Read it all over again. And read the verse 20. Right? David, before he left, he hired somebody to take good care of his father's sheep. That is the value he saw of himself, being a shepherd. And that is why God could give him a whole nation to take care of. Because God knows that if I give this person a nation, he will know how to delegate his duties. Before he left, he hired somebody to take good care of his sheep, so that none will be lost. He was accountable. Being valuable means being accountable, making sure that everything you are given, you account for it. And who knows, you may be the next to receive a national award. So, in conclusion, I want all of us to take this home, that in carving a niche for yourself in a crowded marketplace, be visible, be vocal, and be valuable. I thank you very much.